faces, welcome, welcome. If you haven't already, we have some pizza and drinks, and if you're brand new, we have a volunteer sign-up sheet to kind of learn about some of the projects we work on as a mesh network. We're building a network to provide internet to New York City residents, and also we try to work on, as an organization, to engage with the community and empower everyone. So we usually start off like this, like some time to mingle, get to know each other, and then we'll do a few presentations on updates or stuff that might be happening and similar issues related to community networking, and then we'll break out into some working groups or discussion groups, which I'll define a bit later. So first we have Oliver, who is a long-time volunteer, and he's going to talk about some projects he's been working on.
Cool, thanks, Jillian. So just giving a quick update on the updated line of sight tool. It's available at right here, los.nycmesh.net. And this is a good way, it's not foolproof, but it's a pretty good way to get an idea of like whether you can connect or not. I don't know, maybe you've seen this already, but it uses the 3D building model provided by the city government to actually check like if there's any buildings blocking the line of sight. So the data is from 2014, so it's not completely accurate, but it's pretty good. I'll give it a little demo. Like one of the best streets in New York, Oliver Street. And it shows you on this is updated, so it actually shows you on the map like all the potential connections, like what devices are on there. So you can see Supernode Sector 1 or Omni or a Lightbeam sector. And it tells you the distance as well, which is kind of handy. Yeah, and you can put in any address you want. It's also cool because you can click View Earth, which opens up the address in Google Earth. And then while this is loading, I'll show you how to view the actual network. So you go to api.nycmesh.net, which brings you to this page. And then you click, this will get easier in the future, but you click KML, which downloads this file, the KML file. And then back in Google Earth, you only have to do this once, but you go to New Project. You have to click Settings to enable KML files. Okay, turn on KML, save. You should allow this, I think. So you create a new project, and then you add the KML file, I think. I don't know. Oh yeah, import KML file from computer. And then you add that file that you just downloaded. And there you go. So I'm going to turn off some of the layers right here. But this is the network in 3D. So it's pretty cool. You can like go around, you can click on stuff, get panoramas.
What's usually yellow and red?
So yeah, this is just something I'm playing around with. The yellow's kind of like, or red is like the dead ends, so it's just the light beam only nodes. Yellow is like has Omni, or it just connects to other nodes, basically. We started doing Omnis about a year ago, so there will be fewer, pretty much all the new installs are yellow, but it's just a way to differentiate between like what a node you can connect to and a node that's just kind of leeching off the network. I mean, there's no shame in that, just like how we used to do it. There's this other layer, the line of sight layer, which is, I ran this tool on every single request and like saved the results in the database, so you can actually see every potential line of sight to every request. So it's a little overwhelming, but it's fun to just like zoom around and like see what the network could look like. You know, this is like the maximum mesh, basically. Yeah, and then you can also, it's a little nicer to use in the actual desktop app. You can download Google Earth. It's the same thing, but it just like, it runs a little faster. Yeah, that's about it. So los.nycmesh.net. If you're interested in the code, there's a link right here to the GitHub.
Started.
Just the Google Earth, the KLM file, does it update automatically in the new nodes?
So right now it kind of does, but so we're running everything off of a giant spreadsheet right now, which is kind of sucks. We're going to migrate over to the API. In that case, everything will update like instantly. Right now I have to like rerun the import to get the latest changes.
Once you have the file, you don't have to switch.
Yeah, once you go through the setup, that's all you need to do. Yeah. But if it's like out of date, just let me know and I'll rerun the import. And yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Thanks.
All right, now Donuts is going to talk about the code of conduct he has been working on.
So the Mesh has been growing and doing amazing things for 5 years without a code of conduct. We're at that point now where we don't all quite know each other, and it makes sense to have a formal document that describes how we expect us to work with each other and kind of formalize that trust that we've had as a small community. I think this is critical as we want to have this sustained continual growth and to promote diversity and collaboration within the organization. So over the past month or so, a few of us have been working in the Code of Conduct channel to kind of go through codes of conducts from other offline and online communities, take the pieces of those that work for the Mesh, and we've put together a proposal. So this proposal has a few components. We have 2 documents that came out of it, the actual code of conduct, a guide for the moderators, and some tools that we have for working with this code of conduct. I'm not going to go through the details here. Check it out in the Code of Conduct Slack channel and come to me afterwards and we can talk about it. So as a high-level overview, the Code of Conduct describes the goals of the community. What are we trying to foster? What is the fact that we value inclusiveness, that we value diversity and diversity of opinions and thoughts. The scope of where the Code of Conduct applies, it was designed to be very, very broad. It applies in the Slack app as it applies in in-person meetups, as it applies to people getting together to collaborate on projects. It defines the types of behavior, the behavior that we want to see from our members, as well as the behavior that's unacceptable from our members. How to report it, why to report it, how is it enforced, a mapping between the severity of the violation and our response to it. The Moderator's Guide covers the steps that moderators will go through if they receive a report and how to become a moderator. The tools that we've built or are going to build are Slack commands to get a conversation started with a moderator, a Slack group that defines who the online moderators are, and an email address to file reports. That's it at a high-level overview. Definitely take a look at the proposal. Drop a note in the Slack. Going forward, this is sort of the base documents that we'll be using for a code of conduct. And if you have any questions, suggestions, we're, of course, open to modifying it and helping the code of conduct grow and evolve as our community grows and evolves. That's it. Thank you. Any quick questions? Yes.
Is this tagged to the Slack channel? Then?
It will be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the most recent post as well. Yeah, you flashed something? You wanted to talk about that? Okay, I'll hand it over. Yeah.
Will this be on the website?
Yes, it will be. Yeah. Great.
So, as I first got here, we were chatting briefly about the idea of setting up a hackathon. And we were thinking we needed to get some lists of the problems that we have. So we wanted to go through a couple of cycles of collecting problem statements about the things that we need to get done. We've talked about resiliency, and we started talking about maybe we need to have paper documents of some of the operational procedures. There are probably a myriad of things that we could work on. So list them, and we'll publish them, and we'll go through a couple of cycles of this and try and build out some framework to have a hackathon on. That's it. So it's in the basket.
Great, thank you. Yeah, this isn't a mic for you guys. So yeah, a lot of all these projects have been just taken on by volunteers who wanted to do something interesting, either to hone in on a skill or just realize it was necessary. A lot of what we're trying to do is rethink how we build the internet and also how we use the internet to work for our communities. And I'm just giving a little announcement or presentation on a conference that I initiated and I'm working on with a few other people, and just a little bit of a, I don't know, heads up on that this is happening. So what we're thinking about doing is every year in Europe there is a mesh networking conference called Battle Mesh, and they've had it for 10 years or so now. I think they're on their like 12th version, but they've done multiples in a year. And it's an opportunity for people to come together, learn about their networks, work on problems. A lot is very technical level, but it's also a great way to engage with people working on similar community networking problems. I attended it last summer, and I was talking to a few people from North America, and we were like, why are we flying all the way out to France for this, especially in the summer? Why don't we do something here? And so figured, why don't we do a conference here? And it's probably, what we're thinking is it's going to be like a 2-day event mostly, with an optional beginning of a connect-a-thon for people who really want to learn how to start building their own network. And then the 2-day conference afterwards with a lot of like practical hands-on workshops, either to learn certain skills and also have a lot of discussions on maybe networks that already have and understand it or are established a bit and what problems they might encounter. And who we're imagining is some community networks throughout North America mostly, but it's a bit more open than that. A lot of engineers and developers we imagine are ultimately going to go, but it's also open to activists and community organizers, and because there is a lot that goes into a network. And we're thinking in October 2020. We do need space, so that's a little bit of what this call is for, because we can't really lock down a date until we have space. And we'd like this event in the future, if held, to be maybe taken on by other networks. There's some in California, there's a guy in LA who just posted on the Slack group today. So helping foster those groups to network with each other, engage with each other. And so right now we're trying to just get off our feet, just kind of figure out some sort of an image and get things moving. So it's been a little small right now, but we are starting to come up with a few tasks that would be really helpful, small things if people want to help out. And like in the next few months, we'll really need volunteers who are interested in working on specific areas, say like marketing or organizing people the day of the event, et cetera. But yeah, some things right now we really need is like a comprehensive list of what community networks are in North America. Because if you go on like Wikipedia, it's a lot of very outdated networks. It's networks that are, 1 or 2 people and they were just doing in their PhD program and it's kind of defunct now. So we don't really have an accurate list anywhere. So that's kind of a thing that like, not only in the context of this event, but it'd be really great to have in general, to have like an idea of what the layout is, and also some contact information so we can reach out to them and see what other people are looking for. Some marketing and event packages, sponsorship packages, kind of getting the ball rolling on that end. And then mostly, as I said, we need help finding a space. About 100 people we're thinking, just over 2 days, maybe Friday night, something large, maybe warehousey style or something with some breakout rooms would be really cool, because we want people to be able to meet in one room, but also work on workshops and stuff. And ideally as free. So I got a little tongue twisted there. Yeah, so if you're interested, for now you can email me or ping me on Slack, and I'm happy to help. Those are the main things we really need help with right now, as I listed before, and also these presentations will be posted. And then we'll do a greater call for other volunteers and a bit more detailed of a project, details about the event in the next few months. All right, that is that. Any questions? Yes, hi.
Are you wanting to do it here in the city? Have a conference here?
Yeah, we would like to have it here in the city. It's pretty much anywhere in the city. So, yeah.
Is the Internet Society not able to help with the comprehensive list of mesh?
Well, yeah, so the Internet Society doesn't quite have an updated comprehensive list, so that's where it's kind of a project that several organizations have expressed a need for, so yeah.
So not all mesh networks are registered, or the Internet Society is not aware of all the mesh networks?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate, that not the Internet Society is not aware of all the mesh networks.
You said there might also be some that they're aware of that are defunct.
Yeah, like the Wikipedia page for like mesh networks has a lot of defunct ones. And I mean, the reason a lot have become defunct and kind of a purpose of this event, hopefully, is like, because a lot of times it will be a few people and then it becomes one person who gets all the responsibility and then they just can't handle it. Like for instance, I met the guy who ran WasabiNet in St. Louis, and he has 14 inactive nodes in St. Louis because it just became him. So it's a little bit of like, hey, how can you get community together? How can you build a network that has momentum and not just dependent on one person and not putting all the weight on a single person? Yes?
Do we have a channel for it also?
Do we have a channel for it? We will have a channel soon. It's also, like, we're trying to figure out where its place is in the organization, because there's a bit of like sense that we don't really want to come to other networks to be like, hey, we're New York City, this is how you should do it. So we're trying to figure out how that falls in.
Jalen, the marketing aspect for this is also to reach to these organizations, to go on social media and make an open call for this. Is that the way you're thinking, since there is no a centralized list of the networks? The outreach aspect would try to contact these people and say, this is us. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, so as far as the outreach aspect, and we can talk about this a bit more offline as well, but what I'm envisioning is right now, because we're still trying to identify like what people need really and what they are looking for, as far as like what skills they're looking for. So to reach out to a few engaged organizations and kind of survey them a bit and then do a larger outreach. And like ultimately it doesn't have to be established organizations, but there are definitely a lot of pockets of people around the continent who have wanted to build something and just need some momentum and community to get started. So yeah. If there's one more question, that's fine. Yeah.
There's a good starting list on Arena.
Arena? The political incubator thing?
It's like a research.
Oh, you've talked about this before and I've given the same reaction. Okay. Yes, Arena. That's great. Yeah, because I have not had much success finding one, and I've talked to people from ISOC who also have not had one. Okay, yeah, so feel free to message me, and this will be an ongoing process. But yeah, great. Okay, so now we're going to break out into some working groups. If you're new or if you don't really know anything about Mesh, you don't have to go if you're brand new, but usually we encourage people to go to the FAR conference room, which I don't have my phone on me. The 100 points at the door by the elevators, and we'll give you an introduction of what the Mesh is and what we're about, how to get involved, how to join, etc., the lay of the land. And then Matt, you also wanted to talk about.
Oh, well, that was mostly for personal reasons. I was interested in talking about like
building management discussions, because I'm going to have the mesh on my building, and we're kind of going through a law flow process, and I'm wondering, what sort of conversations could not have with them, and then how do you typically deal with building management, in a big building?
Okay, do you want to have?
Intended to be like a larger install problems discussion. I don't know if anybody has any installation problems at the moment that they'd like to.
I'm sure stuff will probably arise from that. If you guys think that would be a good conversation, and we can have that in the school bus conference room, which is the first one over here. So that conversation is going to be about install problems that people come across as installers and building out the network. And then, what?
More installers.
More installers. We need more installers. It's getting more. We've had a very mild winter, so. And yeah. And then, Jonas, do you want to talk about code of conduct at all, or is that? Okay, yeah, and feel free to stay in this room and have conversations, be available. I'll be around here to talk as well. But yeah, feel free to disperse, and thank you guys. So.